Hello, everyone. I am the Grand Geek Geezer, talking comics and comic-related smack since 1973, and God willing, beyond. Okay, this isn't really a review of the Thunderbolts movie, which I just saw about maybe an hour ago, as much as just commentary. Yeah, believe it or not, it took me a long time to actually see it. Just dude, sometimes life gets in the way, and one thing, domino effect to another. Next thing I know, I'm watching this stuff on Disney Plus months and months and months later after its original release. And I am so sorry it took me so long because I actually enjoyed this movie very, 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 very much. Um, where do I start? Well, first off, right, movies like this, I enjoy immediately because I get to go in there not knowing what to expect because the people from the Thunderbolts movie, as you see here, are not exactly the people from the comic. Totally different team, totally different characters, totally different twist. The comic book version started out as the Masters of Evil, the Avengers enemies, sort of came up with this plan with Baron Zemo to present themselves as heroes to the world when the Avengers supposedly died on a mission to fill the void. Got that? Well, the plan backfires on Zemo because the guys were like, "Hey, it's pretty cool being a hero. I like being a hero better than being like a B grade villain." And you know what, Zemo? You can go F yourself, right? But that's not the story here. Not these guys. But some elements remain that I like. Basically, the whole thing of being the B Squad, right? Is one of the two things that really I related to in this movie. Or not related to, but made them relatable, I should say. You have a poor Russian copy of Captain America. You have a second, grade copy of Captain America, right? Yelena who's the heart, is one of the heart of the movie. She's a second rate, Black Widow, and she's dealing with grief, and no one expects anything from these guys. And in spite of all the odds, they band together and they confront the main villain, the Void. Oh, by the way, spoiler-free review, great movie. Now here come the spoilers. Back to the first thing that made this movie very relatable, very enjoyable. The hero element, or the heroic element. Like I said, they were second-rate heroes. I mean, none of them fly, right? They don't have any of these powers, and yet somehow they found the common cause, banded together, and against all odds, they were going to go take on the enemy, the villain. And that right there, right? Isn't that why we watch the Marvel movies? Isn't that why we watch? Why we read the Marvel comics, right? I mean, it's that whole thing of being a hero. It's like they're going against the enemy they possibly cannot defeat, and nobody knows who they are. Nobody cares who they are. People laugh at them, but they're going to go do it because that's what's right. See, they're gonna go face it, and they're gonna, die trying if it takes, just to do what's right. And that spark within all these guys, because nobody wants to start out second rate, and here they were. But then, when the moment came, right, they went and faced the challenge, no full knowing that they probably were just going to lose, and that was very relatable. It was not relatable as much as very, very moving, right? Because you got to root for the heroes, because if they can just take care of the villain 1, 2, 3, what's the point? They got this big bad, they're gonna go ahead and take care of it, and and it was defeated in a logical, believable way, within the universe. But as I mentioned earlier, this is the second thing, major thing that moved me about the movie. Yelena, obviously, Yelena, either way, Florence Poe really just nailed it, right? She had the appropriate amount of grief and sarcasm, and you felt the weight of her pain throughout the movie. Very relatable. I mean, she's grieving. She's estranged from her father, who, by the way, David Harbour just really eats up every scene that he's in. He's just this big ball of emotion that he's a joy on any end of the emotional spectrum that he is, from humor to drama. He's great. But I'm sorry, but back to Yelenia. Um, like many of us, right? She just, she lost her sister, doesn't know how to process it, feels lost in life. This is some hard stuff, man. And you believe her, and you believe she feels this pain, which then brings us to the other main character, well, at least to me, you know, Sentry, Bob, Robert, whatever you want to call him. He too was great, trying to a damaged man trying to function, a damaged man suddenly finding himself with these powers, but in the back of his mind, no matter how powerful he is or whatever, it's the void. He's in there. It's a metaphor for his trauma. It's a metaphor for self-doubt, depression, um, whatever darkness that can engulf the human soul. And unfortunately, there's many different types. It comes in many forms. That really is powerful stuff, right? In the end, that was really the main villain, right? It wasn't the fact that he was so powerful that he could, take on Thor and everything like that. In the comics, by the way, he can. He can totally kick ass. Um, it's about it's about the trauma. It's about that darkness that engulfs your soul. Um, as someone who's struggled with self-esteem issues practically my entire life, I get it, right? Even in your greatest moments, right? The void is always there, right? He's telling you to give up. He's telling you you're not worth it. Whatever it is, right? Um, and in the end, he sort of gave into it, right? And he was trapped. And I love the metaphor of being trapped in a room of many different rooms within the void, because darkness like that, right? It does take residence in your brain, in your heart, in your soul. So having it, represented as a room, I thought was absolutely great. I really thought it was great. Um, the fact that he was able to with help confront it. It's a two-pronged kind of thing, right? Because you have to tackle something like this on your own, but at the same time you're not alone. You can get support from others. I mean, I got great support from a great group of friends uh, um, with me, and in the movie when they eventually join up to let him know that he's not alone, right? Because another great scene, because there he was fighting the void, but he wasn't really fighting it, and he wasn't winning. He was giving in to hate, right? Because hate is easy, right? And hate, you can keep that down, but you're not really you at the same time, which is to me why he was turning black, as he was just punching it, because the hate was going to consume his soul. The void, the trauma is the fuel, right, for the hate that's just going to corrupt you. Yeah, I did see it on a very personal level, and I would imagine certain people really would have seen it the same way. I really was not expecting that, and it was very moving, and it made me very relatable. I really wish I had seen it earlier. Let's see. On a lighter note, when they end as the New Avengers, um, I liked how they bought in. They bought into it. It was great, right? I mean, they were here. They were going to be the New Avengers. And then the credits roll, and they have all these montages of all these magazines, all the press that they're getting because they're the New Avengers. And I liked how most of it wasn't positive, right? They're from the B Avengers, not my Avengers, etc. So that was really cool, and I didn't mind the weedy scene too much. That was kind of funny. Um, but the last scene after the credits, that was a good one too, because they come back after submission. They're still not getting any respect. They're like the Rodney Dangerfield of the superhero world, right? And yet they are here. They are still fighting the fight, right? And then Bob is there on the couch. Well, I did the dishes, right? Because he can, if he becomes a Sentry, he's worried about the void coming back. That's kind of cool. And of course, Red Guardian with his Avengers with the Z at the end. But I liked how they were together. I liked the little Avenger uniform thing that they had. I like that's Fantastic Four ship there at the end coming in. That's cool. Sets it up for what's coming up. But most of all, really, really kind of funny. When it says, when it said the New Avengers and Bob will return. First of all, that's funny, right? Because this movie also manages to get good laughs in there. But I just didn't want this to be a one-off. I kind of want to see them again. If they have a conflict with the Avengers team that Sam Wilson's putting together, better. This is their thing, man. They're second rate. Nobody respects them. Nobody wants them. Nobody cares. It's just great, and they still fight on. I absolutely love that concept. It's like I might be a loser, but I'm still going to do the best I can. I mean, it's just really good. All right, enough gushing about it. Obviously, I like the movie. I related to it on a personal level, and it's just great, man. Just go see it, and if you haven't seen it, and watch it again. I'm going to watch it again. It was just really, 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 really great. And I'm going to stop gushing, and I'm just going to sign off. Thanks for listening and watching, and please, subscribe if you like, and also check out other stuff on Geek Media. Talk to you guys later. Bye.